Hello my students, I am Meena. Today we will start with a new topic, that is factors underlying abnormal behavior. Under this topic we will talk about biological factors that are responsible for causing abnormal behavior, genetic factors, psychological model, socio-cultural models and diathesis stress model. Under psychological models we will talk about another subparts. Now let's move to our biological factors that influence all aspects of our behavior, whether it is physical, emotional, or social. These factors can create abnormality in the behavior of human due to some faulty genes. And if there is an imbalance in the endocrine, malnutrition, or any type of injury, according to biological model, disorders can occur due to the transmission of messages from one neuron to another. As we have studied earlier that between these neurons there is a small space that is known as a synapse cleft. Every message that is going to send by one neuron to another neuron should move across this space. When electrical impulse reach on neuron's ending, then it releases a chemical that is known as a neurotransmitter. As studies explained, if there is any type of abnormal activity by these transmitters, then this can lead to some specific kind of psychological disorders. Anxiety disorder can be raised because of low activity of neurotransmitter, and schizophrenia can be caused due to excessive activity of dopamine. In the same way, depression can be linked because of low activity of serotonin. Now let's talk about genetic factors that leads to some specific type of disorders like mood disorder, schizophrenia and related to mental retardation. Researchers are unable to find that is there any specific genes that can lead to abnormality. Then they came to know about this thing that there is no specific gene that can cause any particular abnormality. Actually, it happens because of combination of faulty genes. Now let's talk about our another model, that is psychological model. They gave mostly explanation of mental disorders. According to this, they said that in abnormal behavior, mostly two factors play important role, that is psychological and interpersonal. These factors include maternal deprivation, faulty parent-childhood relationship and severe stress. Under the maternal deprivation, we can consider some examples like if the child lost his mother in the early childhood, or if there is a lack of compassion and warmness on the part of parents. For example, if the mother is working, then it may be difficult to give proper time to child. Another example of faulty parent-child relationship, if the child is always rejected by parents on expressing his point of view regarding something, or if the parents are not good listener, then it can arise. However, in another case, if the parents become more overprotective, then it also enables the child to create his self-identity. Next model is psychological model include psychodynamic, behavior, cognitive and humanistic existential models. This is the oldest and most important modern psychological model. According to this model, human behavior is determined by the forces that is present in human and people are aware of them clearly because these forces are part of our conscious mind. These internal factors about which humans are not aware are considered as dynamic. There is always interaction of thoughts with other kind of thoughts in our mind. Then we become confused between the thoughts and the emotion. That's why the conflict arises in selecting which thought we should accept and which type of thought we should not accept. For instance, if you want to go to watch movie, then your parents offered you two options, whether you can go with your friends to watch the movie or you can go with your family members. Here you are conscious about this thought process that is going on in your mind. This model was first given by Sigmund Freud, who believe that there are three central forces that shape our personality. First one is id, second ego, and superego. Id is related to our needs, drives, and impulses. Here, impulses means when we keep any desire that we want to complete quickly. For example, if child of 8 to 9 months sees candy in other person's hand, then he start crying without thinking about the etiquettes. That's why this it is based on pleasure principle. Our second is ego. It is related with the rational thinking when we think in a logical way. In this, the child seek permission before taking the candy. So this is based on a reality principle. Our next one is superego. It is related with our ethics, that what should we do or what should we not do. Another model is behavior model that comes under psychological model. This model states that both abnormal and normal behavior occur due to faulty learning. Like we have already studied the learning theories that we can learn through conditioning, that is by association of two stimuli. We can also learn by observing someone, and we can learn when someone gives us a reward, that is known as a operant conditioning. When we get prize after winning competitions, then we shape our behavior, and it can be in negative form also when we feel rejected on some point. These three type of conditionings shape our behavior in adaptive and maladaptive way. Maladaptive behavior can be modified also. Then psychological factors are also influenced by cognitive model. This model tells that abnormal behavior can be result of cognitive problem, like we already know that cognition is related to our thinking and problem solving skills. In this, people are not able to think in logical ways, and they can conclude their opinion even on a single incident that is not so much important and can come to negative conclusion. Our next psychological model is Humanistic Existential model. As its name suggests, it is related with the human and their existence. In this, we talk about individual like they are having the qualities of friendship, cooperation, and they can fulfill their needs also in a creative way. This model suggests that it totally depends on human which type of life they should want to live, whether they want to fulfill his responsibilities or they want to escape from it. This model states that individual has freedom so that he can be at the stage of self-actualization by fulfilling his all inner potential as explained in Maslow theory. Those people who escaped from their responsibilities are mostly unhappy and isolated in their life. Now we will talk about our third major model, that is socio-cultural factor. Like we can see in our history, there were so many war and violent stories. There were incidents of discriminations also, economic downfall, or mostly employment problems. All these things still are happening in our society, and these things create stress in people's life. According to this model, these problems lead to psychological problems in some individuals. Abnormal behavior can be understood better if we consider our social and cultural factors that mainly influence the individual. In spite of this, human behavior is shaped by family structure, communication, and social network of the person. And also, we should consider the conditionings of the society in which person is living and what type of role the person is playing in the society. Suppose in one family, if there is more interference in each other's activities, then the children from this kind of family may face problems in leading their independent life. If the person is having broader social network and they are having good social and professional relationship, then individual role in society can be accepted by everyone. On the other hand, those people who want to be isolated and have lack social support, they are not be able to create their strong relationship with the another people. then they became more depressed and live isolated life. Sociocultural theories believe that abnormal function is also affected by the society, which label the individual. If one person break the rules of the society, then society try to label that person. For example, when someone asks, "Are you crazy?" this crazy word is a negative label to a single individual. These type of things can affect the behavior of the person and can lead to abnormal life. In addition to these models, there is one of the most accepted model, that is diathesis stress model. This model tells that psychological disorders develop due to some stressful situations. It has three components. First component is related to something that is predisposition or vulnerability. It is something that we gain from our genetic factors that are inherited, and that's why the disorder can occur in the person. Second component is considered as a stress. Person's abnormal behavior can be shaped by the environmental stressors, like the child face some type of tragedy in the childhood or any type of sexual or physical abuse, anything that has happened in the child's family. All this stress can lead to the abnormal behavior. Our third component is, after the stress, development of the disorder. If the behavior that is caused by the stress is lead to a particular time, then that abnormal behavior turned into psychological disorder. This is all about our diathesis stress model. In this way, today we have studied that all these are the factors that can create abnormal behavior in the person. Thank you.